Okay, I'm really starting to think that all these government spending projects are just ways to hide another money laundering scheme. Somebody should be in jail for this.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy to report that the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency has homed in on perhaps the single greatest example of government waste in United States history, and that is California's high-speed rail boondoggle. Here are the facts that the DOJ X handle cited, all of which are true. The high-speed rail project was originally projected in 2008 to cost $33 billion. It is now projected to cost up to $127.9 billion. Its estimated completion date was 2020. Of course, we are past 2020 now. As of 2024, 0 passengers have been transported. Indeed, the majority of the system has not even been fully designed. And yet, it has received $6.8 billion in federal funds, and they're requesting an additional $8 billion in federal funds. In short, the cost has quadrupled, and nothing has been built. A few years ago, the New York Times did an expose, the New York Times, reporting that at the current pace, the high-speed rail project will not be completed this century. I actually asked Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg about this, whether he agreed with the New York Times assessment, and he said, oh yeah, it'll be completed this century, although I gave him several opportunities to give his own best estimation of when it will be completed, and he declined to do so. To give you a sense of how bad things are, in the early days of the project, the lead operator abandoned the project to go and build a rail system in North Africa because they said that there it was, quote, less politically dysfunctional than California. That operator, by the way, brought a high-speed train online in Morocco in 2018. So high-speed trains are not impossible to build. Californians, Americans travel abroad and they ride them. And they say, why can't we have them here? It's just impossible in California because of stratospheric levels of political incompetence. Indeed, the head of the California High-Speed Rail Authority testified last year that the project is $100 billion short in funding, in spite of all of the billions that have been poured in by California taxpayers and through federal support, still a $100 billion funding gap. Jerry Brown, former governor of California and perhaps the biggest supporter of the project, has derided the train, opponents of the train, as small-minded people. But this is an incredibly small-minded project. In fact, it's a non-existent project at this point in time. But even if built, even if the high-speed train, quote-unquote high-speed, magically materializes by the end of the decade, it will still be yesterday's technology. China right now is working on a train that they are planning to complete by the end of the decade that will go up to 1,000 kilometers per hour. So at this point, it is past time to stop throwing good money after bad. We should end all federal support for the high-speed rail project because that federal support is keeping the project on life support and is then forcing California taxpayers to continue to pay billions and billions of dollars more. Meanwhile, our roads are among the very worst in the country, despite us paying the highest taxes in the country. That is the very definition, by the way, of inefficiency. When you pay the most and you get the least in return. So high-speed rail, in short, is a staggering waste of taxpayer dollars that fails to meet the transportation needs of either today or tomorrow. And I look forward to working with the new DOJ Commission and my colleagues here in the House to see that we bring this boondoggle to an end once and for all.
Now, in case you never heard of it, here's Gavin Newsom almost 15 years ago, 2010, pushing the idea of this new high-speed rail. Listen to this.
I am sick and tired of hearing about how wonderful the transportation system is in France and Japan, and have you been to Shanghai, or do you know what they're doing in Beijing? Well, finally, California is going to get it right with this new high-speed rail, and that northern terminus will happen here, and this project.
Bro, in my humble opinion, this is not even corruption anymore. These people are criminals, and they are laughing in your face knowing that nobody is going to stop them. You and I are not going to do anything. If you don't pay your taxes, you are going to jail. It's just as simple. We are talking about 15 years and more than $100 billion of taxpayers' money. And some people out here are talking about Gavin Newsom running for president, being our next president. You let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Like I said, somebody should be in jail for this. I can't wait for Vivek and Elon Musk to go to work. God bless you and your family. Catch you on the next one. Democrats,